welcome to the Midnight Movies podcast with your host Nadia,
Michael,
and Alicia.
Coming up on today's show, Nadia talks to Nick Frost.
And I also met some of the cast and crew of the Game of Thrones TV series, so we've got some gossip from the red carpet.
We review Corman's World.
And Michael picks his events for April.
Hello there, I'm Nick Frost, and you're listening to the Midnight Movies podcast. Enjoy.
So our last event was Repo Man at the ICA on February 29th of February.
Which would be Leap Day, which is
February
also
29th
Leap
of
Day.
Leap
That's
Day.
why it's so weird. It enters the space-time continuum. How was it for you, Lucy? Do you like it?
Yeah, oh, it's brilliant.
It's
Really
great.
liked
It's a
it.
35mm print. We're gonna show the Blu-ray because it's now out on Blu-ray from Eureka Masters of Cinema. Fortunately, we couldn't show the Blu-ray, but we did show 35mm, and I think people appreciated that.
I liked when the kind of stupid punk criminal guys were like, yeah, let's go get sushi and not pay.
Yeah, let's do some crime.
Yeah, do some crimes.
It's a great
Anyway,
film.
it's good.
And we had
Yeah, it
Alex
is.
Cox on our last podcast. You want to check that out, it's still on iTunes.
And so looking forward, we can't announce it just yet, but we have got big plans for the early June. So if you want to sign up to our newsletter, do so via our website, which is www.midnight-movies.co.uk, and there's a little sign-in thing there. And we'll announce it fairly soon, I hope.
Nadia, explain this Game of Thrones thing to me, which you keep on banging on about. You've read all the books, haven't you?
Yeah, I've read all the books.
And the only thing I know about it is that there's, at the end of one of them, a woman suckles a dragon.
Look, okay, I
Suckles a
started...
dragon?
Suckles a dragon on her breast. That's all I know
Can I
about
just
it.
say, I started reading these books ages ago on a recommendation of a friend, and
And
then
you
we
haven't
realised
stopped going
that
on about them.
HBO were picking up the series to make into a
You're
TV
so
show.
on trend.
So if anyone was going to make it, HBO were going to make it, you're like, brilliant, okay, I like those guys, they're going to do a really good job.
And have they done a good job?
They have done a good
Yeah?
job. I'm not sure about some of the casting, because I've read the books and I'm a fan, and you get pictures in your head, whatever, but yeah, I was reading the books at work and I got labelled as someone who reads dragon porn because of that scene with the suckling dragon.
Oh, there's more
That's
porn
coming
in it
up.
though, isn't there?
There's lots of sexy things.
Have they filmed that
Yeah.
yet? The dragon
Yeah.
suckling?
They didn't do the suckling, weirdly. They're quite...
Oh, they're so
the
prudish.
TV series is
HBO,
quite
what's wrong with
sexy.
you?
They've sexed it up. They cut the dragon suckling
Oh,
scene.
shame on you, HBO.
And I chatted to some of the co-creators and some of the cast and crew at the red carpet launch for the season 1 DVD and Blu-ray. And I chatted also to Emilia Clarke, who plays Daenerys Targaryen, who is one of the key characters. Like, she is the dragon suckling
Is she?
sexy
Did you ask her
lady.
about it?
But she isn't, is she, if she didn't do any dragon suckling?
She did it probably off camera. It's probably on the extras on the DVD.
Oh,
When I
check
watched
that
it.
out.
With commentary.
Anyway,
She did say that she got really attached to the prosthetic sort of dragon
I
thing
bet
that
she
was the
did.
stand-in dragon. David and Dan, the creators and the producers of the series Game of Thrones, as kind of novelists and writers yourself, how is it treating somebody else's material? Do you find that you can get your voice in there somehow? Like, how difficult is that, doing an adaptation?
Well, I think first of all, as novelists ourselves, we have so much respect for what George has done. I mean, we know how hard it is to write a book. It's the hardest thing there is in the writing world, for me, it's hard to write a 200-page book, so the fact that George has written 4,000 pages or more of incredibly compelling saga, it's just such a work of art. So from the beginning, we just didn't want to fuck it up, and I think George knew coming in and having a couple of novelists adapting his work was probably a good thing.
His wife told us we didn't fuck it up, so with that, we think we did okay.
And he was sort of helping consult, he was on set quite a lot.
He hasn't been on set that often because he's working on the novels, which is the most important thing. But he did come for a season for about a week, and hope to have him again for third season. He writes one episode a year, and he's a great resource. He's one of the producers on the show. He's the inspiration for everything, of course, because he created this world.
And on a scale, it's huge. It's kind of like Tolkien scale, isn't it? Like the world that he's created and the amount of books.
It's actually much bigger than Tolkien's scale. Tolkien's whole world was the equivalent of, just like size-wise, the equivalent of one of George's books, and George is working on number 6 now, so I think it's a much more epic even than that.
And is he giving you any kind of pointers as to where book 6 is going? So you're kind of like prepping and preparing.
We have all sorts of great secrets that
we could tell you, but then we'd have to smash your iPhone.
I am Daenerys Stormborn, and I will take what is mine with fire and blood.
Anyone can be killed. Season 1 was a huge hit. Were you surprised by how well it's gone?
Oh, completely, yeah. I mean, I knew, you know, it's HBO. I knew it was going to be something incredible, and I knew that the books already had a massive following and stuff. But yeah, I was completely taken aback as to the extent of how brilliantly it's been received.
And season 2 is it bigger, bolder?
Yeah, it's man. I mean, I saw episodes 1 and 2 the other night, and it's phenomenal. I'm so proud. It's just, I feel like it's even better than season 1 actually.
And you're in it for the long haul, your character.
Oh yeah, she's in it for a little while. Yeah.
It's one of my favourite characters.
Oh,
so,
good.
Really
That always scares me when I hear that as well, though, because you just get worried that you're not, that was my main thing. I just wanted to keep the fans as happy as possible, because when you're dealing with someone's favourite character from a favourite book, you sort of want to just be very careful with the way that you play it.
Do you check out fans' kind of comments, or do you get feedback from people?
No, that happened once. I remember on my first, when I first got the job, I looked at something and it was bad, so I was like, that's it, never looking at anything ever again.
I understand the way this game is played.
That's kind of convinced me to go and get the DVD or Blu-ray to actually give it a watch. Why not?
Well, you know.
If Nadia likes it, it can't be that bad.
Well, I know 2 people that like it now.
But it's fantasy, but it's got political intrigue. It's not just all kind of like, oh, look, there's a wizard with the long beard. Check it out.
How
it's
many
really
books are there now? Because there are quite a lot.
He's writing book 6, I think.
Right.
And then he's got another book, and then that's it, pretty much. So he's winding down. That's George R.R. Martin, who wrote the novels. But if you want to watch the new season is on Sky Atlantic HD, and it starts on the 2nd of April at 9 p.m.
Coming up, Nadia speaks to Nick Frost, but first, Lissy reviews Corman's World. What is it? What is Corman?
Roger Corman is a director, producer, kind of writer as well. He's pretty much it was a one-man band for a while, but
previous
he's a
guest
film
of Midnight
distributor.
Movies as
Yes,
well?
Previous guest of Midnight Movies. This is a documentary about his life's work, basically. Felt a little bit like it was one of those winding down things, like step off the mortal coil, which I didn't like the idea of, but he is an awesome man, and he looks way younger, I think, than his 80 plus years, and it's so it's about his work. It's about what various people in the industry think of him. He's responsible for really starting off the careers of Jack Nicholson, James Cameron, David Carradine, who else? Robert De Niro.
Francis Ford Coppola, right?
Francis Ford Coppola. Yeah. He did work also with Martin Scorsese and also
Ron Howard.
He started Ron Howard off on Grand Theft Auto. And
so many people.
Yeah, and he's just brilliant. You know, he's a pioneer in like guerrilla filmmaking. He never bothered to get permits to film anywhere. It was basically just, let's make a film, let's make it fun, what do people want?
And he was churning them out as well, wasn't he?
Churning them out, yeah. About 400 films he's done since his first film in 1954.
For someone who's so square on the outside, he was actually a very hip director.
Clearly my unconscious mind is so boiling inferno.
Roger said, if you can fashion a car crash comic, I'd let you make that picture. It was the fastest green light I ever got.
He just thinks I can do this, and then I just did it.
Taste was out of the question. There's no need for taste.
He's also done a lot of Edgar Allan Poe films, hasn't he?
Yes, he did 6 Edgar Allan Poe films. He did The First Little Shop of Horrors and Death Race 2000.
Death Race, that's it, yeah. The original, the best.
With Stallone.
Yeah, toting a machine gun. Brilliant.
And then weirdly, he was also distributing all these art house films as well, wasn't it? Because I've seen the documentary.
Yeah.
It's a weird sort of tidbit that he was doing some of these schlock.
Yeah, like
exploitation films, but then also
schlock. I think you'll find.
Schlock. Yeah, he's been called a Schlockmeister. I think they referred to him in the documentary.
Distributing like Bergman and Fellini.
It was the first one to bring Fellini and Bergman to drive-through cinemas.
Yes. What a dude!
Yeah, drive-in cinemas, not drive-through. That'd be a really quick film.
Drive through the screen.
Yeah, because he obviously had he had various political messages to express, and he wasn't just into trash. So I think they said in the documentary the only film that he hadn't made money on was The Intruder, which was one of William Shatner's first films.
Yeah, and that's one we showed in a double bill when Roger Corman came down.
It's a great film. We were really lucky to have Roger Corman as a special guest, like our 3rd Midnight Movie. And my favourite memory was the fact that we were like, this is our first big guest. So we were a bit stressing out, and he was really late, and we were like saying, where is he? He's coming from the restaurant or something, and it got to like midnight.
Yeah, middle of Soho.
It's like still wasn't there. So I was like standing on the streets looking out for him, and then suddenly he comes up in a little rickshaw. It was like, couldn't get a taxi, couldn't walk, get a rickshaw.
Was he on his own? Did he just
he was just in a rickshaw.
randomly turn up on a rickshaw on his own?
I was like, okay, that's cool. You're forgiven.
guy.
You're forgiven now. And then he just gave us really amazing stories about. We showed Mask of the Red Death and Intruder.
Yeah.
He just gave some really amazing stories, and he just seems so genuine and down to earth. He just seems such a cool guy.
But anyway, to sum up, he's a dude. He's brilliant. He looks like the most conservative old man you've ever seen, but he's known for like writing in the margins, I think, of scripts. They mentioned this in documentary. Can we add some breasts and nudity here? You know, there's various different
like
points.
Michael Bay then.
That sounds like Game of Thrones, right? Can we add some suckling here?
Here. So really good documentary. Would actually have liked to have heard more from him.
Right.
So when's the DVD out? It's from Anchor Bay.
And it's out on the 27th of March.
Okay, so that's a top tip from Lissy there.
Go and buy it.
So coming up, we have the interview with Nick Frost, he of Spaced fame and Hot Fuzz and Paul and Attack the Block, and soon to be in Snow White and the Huntsman. So I chatted with him, but first we've got Michael here with his top picks for April of events and things that you should do and see.
Here we go, pop pickers.
You're
Okay,
turning
at
into
number
Tony
1.
Blackburn.
Yeah, it's alright. Tony Blackburn's in. Okay, number 1 on Sunday the 1st of April at 7:30 p.m. at the Glasgow Film Theatre for our Scottish friends. There is a screening of Martin, George Romero's Martin, which I really, really like. But this is a special event because it's been selected by the novelist Ian Rankin, and he's in conversation with Mark Miller of comic book fame. Yeah. So that sounds like a really cool event. So Glasgow Film Theatre are really on it. Sunday the 7th of April, so that's Easter Sunday, it is Film Bar 70 presents Night of the Black Mass. This is an all-nighter. This is 5 films back to back. Number 1, Demons. Number 2, Evil Speak. Number 3, Satan's Blood. Number 4, The Black Cat. And number 5, Fear No Evil. Back to back.
Nice.
So what better way to celebrate Jesus' death day?
Jesus' death.
Or did he come back on
Jizz.
Sunday? I can't remember.
Let's
Anyway,
celebrate Jizz.
that's at the Roxy Bar and Screen, and it kicks off at 11 o'clock. Then on Saturday the 14th of April, we have the Dukes After Dark, who are our sort of like-minded friends in Brighton. At 10 p.m. they're showing Purple Rain.
Purple rain.
And they're doing very...
rain.
There we go. Which is the classic Prince featuring film. And they're teaming up with Pop Not Pop.
We're not interested anymore, Michael.
Sorry.
We have a little song.
Anyway, Pop Not Pop is a notorious club night that they're teaming up with to do a sort of after party. And finally, I did a little plug for my own events. Little Joe is presenting Office Killer late night at
Not
Rio
heard of it.
on
Office
Saturday.
Killer?
No, not many people have heard of it.
Can you tell us about it?
It's Cindy Sherman, the artist, photographer. It's her first
yeah.
and only feature. And it stars Carol Kane as a sort of mousy secretary who goes a bit crazy and starts killing.
Cool.
Doesn't Cindy Sherman play all the roles?
No, she doesn't. No, she's not in it.
Missed a trick there.
She's missed a trick there. Yeah, maybe that's why she didn't want it to do very well. But it's quite funny because it's like the start of Email. That's Little Joe presents Office Killer, Saturday 28th of April, 11:30 at the Rio Cinema. Again.
There is tons going on in April.
There's so much going on in April.
Don't shout.
Sorry.
Actually,
anyway.
Speaking of which, I've got a top tip for anyone who's a Midnight Movie fan. You have to go and watch The Cabin in the Woods, which is the new Joss Whedon film. He's written it and produced it, and it's brilliant. It's so much fun. I managed to get to a preview screening, and it's not what you would expect.
He's on fire. He's got the Avengers coming up.
He did Buffy. He can do no wrong.
He did do Buffy.
I don't know.
That is Unleashed on Friday the 13th of April 2012. That's one of our picks as well.
Cool.
Can you tell us anything about it? Or?
No, I don't want to know anything about it. No.
There is an amazing cameo towards the
end. No, I don't want to know. Is it Buffy? No, I don't want to know.
No. Oh, watch it. It's so good. Okay. It's got one of my favourite creatures in it.
Is it a dragon suckling?
I, as I said, chatted to Nick Frost. He's got a film coming out on the 1st of June called Snow White and the Huntsman with Kristen Stewart of Twilight fame. He plays a dwarf. And I chatted to him, actually, not about that, more about his influences growing up and the films that he watched and stuff that he loved. Here's what he had to say.
I think Spielberg was my first kind of real inspiration. I wasn't a big fan of films. I wasn't like Edgar and Simon in that respect. I came to films really late, essentially, because I wasn't like that. I played a lot of rugby as a kid, and I was a bit rough, I guess, and we got into trouble lots, and I was getting thrown out of cinemas and running away from people. And
what were you getting thrown out of cinemas for?
Just egging the screen, or
which bad film was that caused you to egg?
What's that film where Jeremy Irons plays two identical twins and they're surgeons. I think we might have egged Who Framed Roger Rabbit as well.
Slightly controversial.
See, I was a different kid.
So, what stage did you get into films? And kind of was it through Simon and Edgar that you got your interest?
It was really, but I mean, I knew it was in me. Do you know what I mean? But they were the catalyst. That said, I mean, the first time I watched Close Encounters was a real kind of moment for me. I really, as a kind of 12-year-old kid, I remember thinking, fucking hell, this is amazing. What's just happened,
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a flying saucer.
Star Wars as well, that was, I think everything I did as a kid revolved around Star Wars. As a young kid from 7 till 13 or so, till now, till 39. It was all about Star Wars really, and then it was all about Indiana Jones.
And what do you think about all the kind of new, like, Star Wars in 3D and Episode 1 and all this kind of stuff? Like, I
think it's quite sad that it's something that's now was my life is now just completely not for me,
And Yoda on phone adverts and stuff.
Yeah.
Not impressed.
Simon tweeted something the other day which I thought was bang on. It was like seeing Yoda in a Vodafone advert. It was like seeing like a postcard in a phone box for his nan giving out blowjobs. And it was like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I was quite lucky that my parents, when I was a little boy, on Sundays they would sit in the pub and I would be allowed to rent videos and watch whatever I wanted. Wow. So it was always like...
So Sunday's horror day?
Sunday was horror day, yeah, in more ways than one. Night, was it called the Night at the Manchester Morgue? Is that what it's called? It would kill me for not knowing. The Hills Have Eyes. Yeah. The Exorcist. I Spit on Your Grave. The Thing, I think I remember watching as a little boy.
On the Midnight Movies side, what sort of midnight movie, cult movie is your sort of favourite that you would love to sort of see on the big screen late at night in a crowd?
I think the first thing that springs to mind is some good Rambo, First Blood. I think that would be pretty cool with a crowd.
Are you telling me that 200 men against your boy is a no-win situation for us?
You send that many, don't forget one thing. A good supply of body bags. Sylvester Stallone. This time, he's fighting for his life.
Why did Yoda sell himself out? That's what I don't know.
I know. You've seen the Yoda advert?
I haven't seen the Yoda.
I thought you'd be more of an O2 guy.
The Yoda phone.
I
have seen.
There are other phone networks out there. Listening.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Anyway.
Can we make Nick Frost our friend?
He is our friend. He actually offered to do help us out with the Midnight Movie event. So stay tuned. Potentially.
Nick Frost presents Rambo or Rambo.
Rambo.
The Turkish version of Rambo.
Well, we had his pal Edgar Wright host one of our nights, and he showed Death Wish 3. So why not get Nick Frost and get the whole gang?
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah.
Come on, Nick.
Join us.
Call me.
Right, that's it. I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lots, haven't we?
Wow.
Packed a lot into this edition of the podcast.
Lots of amazing things, obviously. No fillers.
If you want to keep in touch with us, as I mentioned, we've got a website, www.midnight-movies.co.uk, and you can sign up to our newsletter there. We've also got
Facebook, which is Facebook/midmov.
And we've got Twitter at midnight_movies.
Hopefully we'll see you again in June, so do keep up with our events by signing up to all those things.
In the meantime, enjoy all that stuff in April, and we'll see you next time.
Bye!
Bye!